Welcome to the Nathan.net. In this video, we're going to cover the ls command, which is the list command. And we're going to cover some of the basics with it and show you how to find out more information on it. So first, let's find out more information and take a look at the man page. Now, the list command, or list directory command, it's kind of a read-only command, so you can have fun with it and not have to worry about breaking anything or messing anything up. It's a very powerful command and one of the most basics. Use it all the time. It's how you navigate the directory structure and view different directories and files. So some of the options we want to take a look at is the sorting and the listing functionality. So with the listing functionality, it has different ways to list all the files, even the hidden ones, which are the dot files, and how to long list, how to list with or without groups, how to ignore certain things in the list, how to list directory only, and that could be useful. I'll show you how. It has some color options so you can get a quick glance and see what's a directory, what's an executable. It tells you permissions of files and folders, and in Linux pretty much everything's a file, so we'll cover that later. It tells you the size of the files and if it's human readable or not, but not directories. We'll cover that too. What's below that directory with recursive? So let's take a look at some examples. So in my home directory here, we'll just do the ls command. And you see there's a bunch of directories, but there's no files. That's not necessarily the case. So to view those hidden files, we'll give it the A for all. And now you could see them. And the hidden directories even. The ones at the top are the dot and dot dot. Those are going to be in all the directories. So you can give it a capital A and ignore those. Another thing that's really handy, and one of the options I always usually pass, is the L for the long listing. And that's going to give us the permissions on the file or directory, the owner, the group, the size, the time last modified. First of all, that size isn't very useful, so we'll give it the H option to make it human readable. So now we have readable sizes. But one thing to notice is all the directories are 4K. That's because a directory is just a file. And to see what's inside of it, we can look with the ls command. But right now, let's take a look at something that's going to have other users in it. Maybe Etsy. Well, it does. It has a couple. So you can see Etsy has a lot of stuff in there. And if we want to look at it based on time, we could tell it, give it T, and then it sorts based on time. But it's not giving us a good order here. It's showing us the oldest file at the bottom, and with the Etsy directory, you can see it scrolls more than my window has, so I could either scroll up with the mouse, or I could say sort it the other direction, or reverse sort. And then there you can see that the newest file is at the bottom and easier to see. There's also some other commands we can do, like we could head or tail. But you notice when you do that, you lose your color. We can also sort this directory. So looking at this, say we want to exclude everything that ends with a .d. So we'll pass it to -i asterisk .d. And now all those directories are gone, and it fits in my window here. If I put a space, because it's in the wrong one, now all those files are gone. It doesn't fit my window, but the files are gone. So, little mistake there. Got to put that in. So, speaking of directories, there's a way to list directories. So, for example, we want to look at a directory that's in here, and then say we know that default is in here, but we don't want to just look at Etsy. Let's take off the sort, because you'd say, well, where's it at? You'd have to scroll up through here or search for it, but we could pass the D option, and now we only see that directory. And that's handy because without that option, we're going to see the contents underneath or inside of that directory. And this is helpful if you want to, for example, you have a web server and var log, www or HTTP, whatever the log directory it's logged into. Say you want to give permissions to other users, or check the permissions of what it is so you know what group you should be part of. Well, that's where you can look at just the directory you want to and see the permissions. Or say you change the permissions and just want to double check that they're actually made. You can look at that specific directory. So we're in etc default here, and say we want to sort by size. Well, we would give it the capital S option to sort by size. And if we want to do it the reverse, we could just pass it to R. And you can see that there is two S options here. The capital is by size, largest first, and then the S is by size, but print all allocated size of each file and block. So the lowercase s doesn't sort, but the capital does. So you got to make sure you use the capital S. One thing we haven't covered is the recursive option. And see, there is another file. Let's see. For that, we would give it the capital R. In this case, we're going to list all, long listing. Let's not do long listing. Let's keep it short. And then the recursive, let's do etc. Now that gives us each directory and all the files under it. And you can also pass it the L option. Now you can sort by, for example, let's do time, reverse sort, but it's not necessarily it's gonna sort basically by directory and everything in that directory. It's not gonna summon up and sort everything in that. So this one, it's sorted by etc alternatives, and then it showed everything in there. This is probably a good one to show color. So you could see there's some different colors, and the different colors represent different things, like whether it's a symlink, or for example, this one may be a missing file. Let's take a look. It's because it has a special bit on it, and that's why the different colors show up different ways. So you can see that if it has a sticky bit, it's going to list it a little bit different than if it does not. The links are going to list different colors, and executables will list different colors, and that's the kind of the handy thing. The directories will show different colors, so the directories and files really stand out, and you can pass it an option to not show that. Another thing, a lot of the Linux distributions now alias ls, so by default they show color or the long listing. So if you do an ls, it might do the capital AL, so you don't have to type that, but it's a good idea. Thanks for watching Nathan.net. I hope you enjoyed this video and the ls command. So take a look at the ls command, the man page for the ls command, and play with it. Don't be afraid to hurt anything because it's a list only command. You're not going to mess up anything with this command by itself.